So yeah, if I remember correctly, we were talking about some of these things. Oh yes, of course. And then this thing came up and we were discussing that sort of stuff. But then, I forgot to mention this. This other thing that came up as well. And then we actually went back to what we were talking about. And at the end of the day, we just sort of, yeah, that's what we talked about. All right, I give that example to show you the importance of clarity and also context when we're speaking. So as a listener, it can be very challenging when people use words like this, that, these, those, stuff, things. Those words are tools to use, but we want to make sure we're actually using them in the right way. So when I say things like that, or if I say and other stuff, I need to make sure I've given my listener enough examples to know what other stuff I'm referencing. I don't just want to use it as a tool to get more time to think of what I want to say. So be careful with those common phrases. Words like this and that and those, they're reference words that are very easy to confuse people with. Make sure it's clear the listener knows who it is that you're referencing or what event, what detail that you just talked about. Especially when you're describing complex things that have multiple parts. Words like this, that, these, those, it's not always obvious which part you're talking about. Finally, be careful about jumping. When we're talking and we want to be very clear, we want to be linear in the sense of our ideas go from A to B to C. And if there's overlap, that's okay, but we want to avoid starting part A, jumping now to C, coming back to part A, moving to B. We want to make it complete in each of its parts. So we want to avoid the circular sense of jumping all around, circling back, moving forward, and so forth, because for the listener, that is very mentally challenging to follow the pattern there and visualize what point are we talking about now. So with those things, keep that in mind in terms of this idea of clarity in speech. And again, this goes hand in hand with the other things we've talked about, with confidence, with conciseness. That third C there is clarity, and clarity comes from careful word choice and careful organization and mapping of what you actually want to say.